basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Warriors are off to a great start to the season and fans are excited. Despite the bad news that DeAnthony Melton will no longer play this season, the Warriors have a history of getting through these moments and will not give up on doing business to bring in players with potential and high level, so that they can achieve the goal of give Stephen Curry his 5th championship. Rumors: Warriors are interested in 2 great players to make the squad strong and deep and make up for the absence of DeAnthony Melton. The Golden State Warriors might have to make a move to acquire one of these 2 talented frontcourt players. The Golden State Warriors have started the season as the best team in the Western Conference, sitting as the number 1 seed with an 11-3 record through the first month of the season. They've been convincingly beating teams on both ends of the court and are third, plus 10.2, in net rating this season. Even with their success, it's no secret that the Warriors were heavily monitoring stars available for trade over the summer. They had public trade attempts for Paul George and Lauri Markkanen which failed to materialize, but insiders believe the Warriors are likely to make a trade sometime soon before the trade deadline. With the strong start to the season, the Warriors don't need to make a blockbuster acquisition. Instead, acquiring a player who will perfectly complement their current roster would be ideal, especially with DeAnthony Melton's season-ending injury. As a result, we think Brooklyn Nets forward duo Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith could be on the Warriors' wishlist ahead of the trade deadline. Johnson is averaging 18.1 points and 4.3 rebounds so far this season, providing extremely high-level wing play for the Nets. With the franchise reportedly making everyone on the roster available for potential trades, Johnson might be the one to generate the most interest. He's a 3-level scorer who is shooting 39.3% from three-point range on 7.8 attempts per game. The Warriors' motion offense would be perfect for Johnson to thrive within, especially in a frontcourt pairing with Draymond Green. The price for Johnson won't be small, so the Warriors will likely have to part with a young asset like Jonathan Kuminga or Brandon Podziemski. If they continue to hold them as untouchables, Andrew Wiggins might be sent away with additional first-round picks to satiate the Nets. Johnson makes $23.6 million, so the Warriors will either need to use Wiggins' $26.2 million in salary to make a deal happen or club multiple contracts with Kuminga, $7.6 million, or Podziemski, $3.5 million. If this is a price too steep for the Warriors for a rotational forward, looking at Johnson's teammate Dorian Finney-Smith could bring ideal results. Finney-Smith isn't the offensive spark plug Johnson is, averaging 11.2 points and 4.7 rebounds on 42.5% from 3 this season. But he's an extremely dependable frontcourt defender who plays with high IQ and versatility to be on the perimeter or on the inside. Offensively, Finney-Smith is a corner specialist and can knock shots down from deep. We've seen him sink 8 three-pointers in a playoff game before, so the veteran forward could be an incredible addition to the lineup as a capable shooter who will match Draymond's defensive intensity. A deal for Finney-Smith, $14.9 million, wouldn't be too expensive and could let the Warriors keep their prized young assets intact. A first-round pick alongside someone like Moses Moody could do the trick, with Moody still struggling to find his role on the franchise despite being extended on a 3-year, $37.5 million contract over the summer. The Nets can add some solid young assets from the Warriors if they engage in a deal for either of their 2 veteran forwards. Golden State has a clear use for them to ensure they can compete for a championship once again, so it'll be interesting to see what direction the franchise goes closer to the trade deadline. Warriors announce devastating blow that's bound to hurt playoff chances. A horrible outcome for DeAnthony Melton and the Warriors. The Golden State Warriors have announced a devastating blow ahead of Wednesday's game against the Atlanta Hawks, revealing that DeAnthony Melton will miss the remainder of the season with his ACL injury. Melton was hurt in the fourth quarter of last Tuesday's NBA Cup meeting with the Dallas Mavericks, remarkably playing out the final few minutes of the game despite the injury. Following extensive testing and advice, the Warriors have chosen to send Melton for surgery, which will see an end to his season. DeAnthony Melton's season-ending injury is devastating for the Warriors. The prognosis is a devastating blow for Melton, who played an important role as a starter for 2 games prior to the injury. The 26-year-old was slated for a consistent 25-30 minute per game role with Golden State, with this news undoubtedly harming the team's chances of securing a playoff berth and then making a run should they get there. The Warriors had got a potential steal when they signed Melton to a 1-year, $12.8 million deal in free agency, but instead the two-way guard's first season with the franchise is over after just 6 games and 121 total minutes. Golden State will have to push on without Melton available to them, with a big question mark still remaining on who will be Stephen Curry's backcourt partner. Lindy Waters III has started the last 2 games since Melton was injured, yet the jury is still out on whether that's the best and most sustainable option moving forward. One has to feel for Melton, who was looking to rehabilitate his value on a 1-year deal in the Bay before entering free agency next offseason with an eye to a bigger paycheck. It now remains to be seen what sort of contract he could get following this injury, and what the Warriors may be willing to offer to bring him back for a second season. The Warriors are Melton's 4th team in 7 NBA seasons, having also spent time with the Phoenix Suns, Memphis Grizzlies, and Philadelphia 76ers. He was limited to just 38 games with the 76ers last season due to a back injury, allowing Golden State to get him with the full mid-level exception during the offseason. This news puts a major dampener on the Warriors' strong start to the season, with the franchise looking to retain top spot of the Western Conference with a win over the Hawks. Steph Curry's heartfelt Zion Williamson statement after Warriors-Pelicans. Golden State Warriors guard Steph Curry gave an honest assessment to Zion Williamson. The Golden State Warriors defeated the New Orleans Pelicans 112-108 to improve to 12-3 on the season, good enough for first place in the Western Conference. Warriors star Steph Curry had a quiet game, scoring 19 points, but he made some interesting post-game comments regarding New Orleans Pelicans star Zion Williamson. Williamson is out indefinitely with a hamstring injury he suffered earlier in the season. The 2-time All-Star has only played 6 games this season, and his team is near the bottom of the Western Conference standings. Curry knows a lot about injuries, as the superstar went through multiple ankle injuries early in his career. Zion, has been through a lot early in his career. Injuries happen, but you try to take a big-picture mentality, staying motivated and keeping your spirits right because rehab is tough. Williamson has heard similar sentiments from those closest to him. Former Pelicans assistant coach Teresa Weatherspoon was recently at a Pelicans game, talking to the young star before tip-off. Weatherspoon built an undeniable bond with Williamson, and he said one of the messages she always imparted to him was to keep your spirits up. The star forward has had numerous issues staying healthy over his career. Since being drafted by the Pelicans, Williamson has played in less than 50% of possible games for New Orleans. Now, the former Duke standout is out, with no timetable for return, and the Pelicans must find a way to rebound this season before it's lost for good. The Pelicans travel to Indiana to face the Pacers on Monday. Related articles. Zion Williamson gets brutally honest after blowout loss to Warriors. New Orleans Pelicans make roster move after loss to Warriors. Brandon Ingram's honest statement on Pelicans' loss to Warriors.